Well, hello, it's Susan at Seaside Stitches and welcome to my channel. Thanks ever so much for joining me. This is a bit of an impromptu video, and I'm speaking to you in the kind of as if I've got my hair rollers in. This is not a proper style, but we are going to a surprise 70th birthday do. Not exactly a party. Okay, so I'm just coming on quickly because I made a video on Wednesday for the Friday sews this week. I did it on Wednesday because I knew we were going to a funeral on the Thursday, and then we had things for Friday. So, and then this morning I've checked it again before. I checked it and the lighting on it is dreadful, and I'm very stuttering and stammering and not really. I am focused in myself, in my mind, but it's not coming out to you that I'm focused. And I was explaining in a little bit of detail about how lovely the Pattern Emporium Take the Chance dress is, and how I've really enjoyed making it and how it's gone together. And I just got so serious about it. I look like I'm all grumbly and everything. So I thought, I'm not going to put that out without a rider in front of it, just to say, I'm really sorry about it, but I would like to share some of it, so I will edit it down, but it probably won't go out now as a Friday Sews until Tuesday. And so I did release a video that I'd already put together about the making of part of, a little bit about the making of this. But I also started a video for that on the same day, on the Wednesday, and explaining about my shallow chest and about how it's too big on me and how I could deal with it and whether I would deal with it. And really I'm going to pop that in at some point for bloopers because it's just ridiculous. I'm sat right low down, I've got everything. Alan has been replacing a radiator in here, in my space. And it means that things have been all over the place. So my normal setup of how I have things just wasn't as it should be. And I thought, well, never mind, I'm going to go ahead anyway. And I just should have left it, really. So I'm just going to check if this is actually recording. Okay, just very quickly, what I'm wearing is this. I started this dress when we lived in our other house, and we've been here since 2015. It wasn't quite finished, and I just couldn't get one side right, and it is a little bit, it's a bit draggy across here, a bit tight, but I just really love it. And I did get it out to wear for the funeral yesterday, Thursday, and I'd forgotten that it fits me so well, really, and it was just easy breezy. I just got a bit obsessed by Kate and the Pattern Emporium easy breezy style, and yeah, it was just very comfortable and it's smart enough. And I thought tonight might have been this afternoon's party was going to be more of a party, so I'd earmarked something else for it, and I thought, no, this would be really quite, it's comfortable because at the moment I'm doing the driving. So anyway, this is what I'm wearing. It's the M6028, and I've done it in a knit. I've done it twice in a knit, and I've used the bodice top part to rescue a dress that I made. So I finished it during lockdown, and that's kind of what got me back into sewing, using my time to think about how to place things and get it right. So I do like this. I do like this pattern, but it is quite a slim fitting pattern. Right, let's just let me go into the value of doing this. I really appreciate anyone who is watching, and I do appreciate you. Thank you for watching my videos, and thank you for watching this one, and thank you if you watched the last one and you ever come back. Never mind. So if you see the bloopers and then you ever come back, well, that'd be really good. Thank you. The value to me of making a video was the one I made on Wednesday, when I saw that I was actually going to just tie the back of this, to put two ties in the back of it. I'm not I don't want to go into it all again because I don't know how much of it I'll be able to say about it. But anyway, it's too big at the back. The collar, I can't alter everything unless I take the collar off, and I'm not taking the collar off, and then I'd have to make a new collar, and that's not what's going to happen. So I decided that in kind of reflecting on it to you, even though you've not seen it, it made me realise, no, I'm not going to just put up with just putting two waist ties in and tying it back. What I have done is taken the side seams out and the sleeves back out, and I have recut the back bodice in a 12 up to the shoulder seams, and that has given me a lot better fit. It's not perfect, but I can't do any more altering or I will spoil the back neck near the collar. So that's as much as I've done, and I'm pleased with it, and it doesn't feel at all anything like as baggy as it was when I've put it on before. So that's that. And excuse me. So I will just leave you now with this little clip of me talking to you, introducing my what should have been a Friday Sews for this week, but it kind of relates to the one I've put out, the episode 42 that I've already put out now. It describes more of how I made the Take the Chance dress, but not much about how I've finished off this one. So I'll somehow try and merge it, and with me doing this with my hair just clipped up so that all the split ends aren't as noticeable when we get there. I've got an hour's drive, and then we're having some lunch before we go anyway, so yeah, then it shouldn't just be as tatty. It's an awful thing. It's, do I wash my hair before an event? And sometimes I could just end up with it like a Hagrid kind of, or if it will do, then do I do something with it before I go? And this, I've never done this since I was about 15, I think. But my arms are now not long enough for the length of my hair to put heated rollers in. So that's where we are today. Thank you ever so much, and yeah, keep sewing, keep smiling, or don't, you know. Sometimes we can't always be happy and joyful, can we? We just got to be as we are. So sending love to you all. I shall hand you over to the woman in the Take the Chance dress and see if you can make any sense of what she says. Bye for now. This is me, Susan, fresh from the morning, and just saying hi. It's Susan at Seaside Stitches, and welcome to my channel. I really appreciate you being there. Thank you ever so much for watching. I can't believe my luck in all this, that I've just attracted so many wonderful people. And I love your comments, and I know I'm not good at getting back to them, and I'm hopeless at that. It's one of my things. I think I said the wrong thing back. I'll say too much, or I'm not saying enough, or it won't sound genuine and it is genuine, and all that rubbish from defaulting to you're not good enough, that lots of us have, I know. Anyway, thank you for being there. And thank you if you've been following me in my journey with this fabric and making this really lovely Take the Chance dress. You will know that I started it a couple of weeks ago, I think, and looking at their instructions, the Pattern Emporium instructions, nothing wrong with those, but I left those because I wanted to follow the way Karina did it in lifting pins and needles, and she's just awesome. And she explained it all, and then she wanted to put the bodice together with the yoke, change it just from a single yoke to put a double yoke so that you've got use the burrito method. So I've taken some photos of how I've done it on the way. There's no sew along with it or anything, but there are some just visuals to go with it, because this was just me coming on talking about the makes and what I've been doing and a bit of life, etc. And one of the things that I noticed when I first started watching Friday Sews was that nobody sews. Most people don't actually do some sewing on Friday Sews. They talk about sewing and they show you their sewing and they show you their makes, but very little sewing is actually done by most people that I've watched who do Friday Sews. And that is the format. The format is, I don't know that Jen's specified the format, but Jen at Today in Jen's Sewing Room, she started this wonderful hashtag so that so many people interested in sewing could share their vlogs under that hashtag, so they all come out round about Friday. Sometimes you get a Friday Sews on a Tuesday or whatever, but it just means people have a starting point. They can put a search for Friday Sews, excuse me, hashtag Friday Sews, and hundreds of people come up. So that's what I've found, and I think that is the format really. We come here and we spend, I don't know, about 20 minutes talking to you about what we've wanted to make, what we are making, and how our week's been really. But I can't always do it weekly, and lots of other people don't always do it weekly either. But so sometimes there's a thread missing from what I've done last time, or I've already done that and covered that in a makes video or something. Generally, I don't do a separate haul video of fabric or a haul of patterns. I don't shop in that way. Having said that, I was looking all over for my Pattern Emporium Meet You There dress. Or Meet Me There, I can't remember now. I'll have a look. Meet You There dress and top. Doesn't mean anything, it's just a brown envelope. But I'd looked all over for it and I thought, I know I've had it printed. In fact, I thought I'd had it printed before and then I've had it printed again. But I don't think I had it printed before. I downloaded it before. Anyway, I wanted it because you can choose sleeves from the Meet You There dress from Pattern Emporium. It's very similar in that you've got 3 tiers, or as many tiers as you want. You can have just a top, you can add more and more tiers, different sizes, whatever you want to do. And it's got a similar kind of fit, and the sleeves match from each pattern. The take the chance dress. Anyway, in the end, I just looked down and I thought, that's where they are, and I have 3 other patterns in there. So I'm quite happy to share them with you, but they are from me buying them every now and then, kind of as, but they get brought to my attention during the time between sewing and not sewing. And so in there, and then I gather them, and then I send them off to Jenny when I feel like I'm going to have time to actually make them, cut them out, whatever, to Jenny Stitches where I have them printed. So why was I telling you that? Oh, just because I was looking for the sleeve I didn't want the short kind of tighter sleeve that Kate McCauley, who runs Pattern Emporium, she is the designer, and there's 2 or 3 different size sleeves, short one, a bit longer still. Anyway, I didn't want any of those at the time, and I wanted to check that pattern. Doesn't really matter now, but what I did was find that I have 3 patterns that I'd forgotten about. So I have the Sew House 7 Regalia blouse, and that was brought to my attention by Judy at Running So and So. I've no urgency on making these yet. I've got Love Notions Coat Quilted Coat. Now there was an offer on that. I don't know whether it was 5% off or 10% off or something. But I like the idea of the one that's in the British Sewing Bee book, the little jacket. But it seems to come out quite short. And I've got the Pattern Emporium Smitten jacket, which is like I'll call it a Wrangler jacket because that's my age. A jeans jacket kind of a thing. but it's got different options to a lot of others. You can have elasticated waist, you can have waist, you can have elasticated sleeves. You can have it as a, it's meant to be kind of a cropped to your waist, but there's also a cropped more like a kind of bolero or a shrub depth. So I'd got that as that came out, I think, and then anyway. So I have got 4 patterns there, but one day I may take you through my patterns, but just at the moment I'm trying to make a bit of a chatty vlog that's light and breezy, and that's the main thing about this dress. When Kate does her kind of promotional videos on different patterns that are coming out, she makes like 7 or 8 samples and then puts them on and wears them and shows you how they flow and what the details are and the differences between the different levels of tiers, or whether you've got a front button band all down the front or just a plain skirt on the button on the shirt part. And yes, so she always goes, oh well, not always, but she'll get, and that's just, it's so easy breezy. And I was determined that I was going to have an easy breezy frock at the end of this, and I have an easy breezy frock. So I have done a few videos. I went a bit mad twirling in the garden yesterday and falling in the bushes and all sorts of things. I've edited most of the falling in the bushes out, or the falling over, but I was having a really good time. It's a lovely dress to wear and I recommend it, and I will pop some pictures in now, or have already done, or I may already be twirling in the garden behind me, or instead of me. I don't know. Yes, so what I'd thought of doing was making an accompanying video, rather than just a voiceover of the clips that I've made, to make an accompanying video in saying just how I made it. So I made the collar using the idea from Karina at Lifting Pins and Needles, after doing the yoke with the burrito method, and I have got little pictures of those things. I put the collar on the way she suggested, and it was as simple as anything. I did the button placket in the way that she suggests, and this did have 3 buttons, but then I'd made it a longer, I'd made the tall version and I'd made it to the waist, which is kind of the default position of it. But the taller version goes a little bit slightly longer than my torso anyway. And I did not really want that tight at the sides and then out. I've mentioned this before, I don't like that look. So I tried it that way just to see if it would be okay. And it doesn't feel right on me. So I carefully measured and chopped, well, as far as up to the other button, above the other button placement. Had actually put the button on, but that didn't matter. And so I brought it up. So as you'll see in pictures, it's just feels like it's me. And as I've posted to So Like Dottie's Facebook makers group, I put, yes, this is me, Mrs. I don't like my clothes baggy. Oh no, I don't like loose fitting clothes. Really enjoying this dress. And just take this. So I did put waist ties on because it is loose fitting and it is easy breezy, but I feel more comfortable in knowing that I've got a little bit of shape up here, but more up here than just here, so that then it goes out, if you know what I mean. But also I put them on long enough so that if I want to, I can bring them round the top. And to have that there isn't too bad for me, but to have it on the waist itself is not my kind of thing. So I don't know that you'd see that anyway. I'll just show you just in case. But it's just lovely. And yes, you make your bodice, but you don't sew up the side seams. You make your skirt in with the front. You do all your gathering. Your top tier, your next tier, however many tiers you want. You can have just one tier and have it as a top if you want, or a long tier and have it as just a whatever. You can do what you want with it. But you make the skirt front and then your skirt back. I didn't know what placement my tiers were going to be at the stage of starting off. That I went through all the kind of testers and models, examples, and I kept coming back to one that ended up like this. So I made a longer one from the waist, and then the other two were something like 8 inches or something like that, but you can make them longer or shorter. There's a regular line, or there's the taller line. And I made 2 shallow ones, but on the bottom one I added a couple of inches, so it may be that I did the regular size on the middle and I did the tall size on the bottom, but that was to allow for a hem if I wanted to put a deeper hem on to give it a bit of weight, because I didn't know how it would hang, all this. It was the thinking, a lot of my time went into deciding and thinking, like it did with the sleeves. So in the end I did my Simplicity 8875 sleeve, which is the puffy at the top and usually goes out and out into a kind of elasticated bishop type sleeve. I did use that pattern piece, so it did flare out, but I didn't want it flared out, and I only wanted to know what it would look like there, and then I could make a decision about whether I took it in. So I did take it in, but not to a very tight one, or just a baggy one anyway. So, and then also I put a big hem on it on purpose. I made it long down to here, and I did put a big hem on it because I wanted the weight of that, so that if I'm putting a cardi on, I can, hopefully it may stay a bit easier than just getting rolled up if it's only a thin. I know what I mean. Yes, so that was that. And Kate does a tutorial on using the plastic elastic, so I don't know what it's called. The see-through elastic that's just like plastic elastic. I didn't do that. I used this kind of elastic. Sometimes I leave it on if I do it that way, and sometimes I take it off. So if you watch Beyond the Pink Door, when Andrea has a slightly gathered skirt to add to a fitted bodice, she will often use elastic to gather in the size of the bodice, and uses that to stretch over the fabric so that it gathers it into exactly the right size. And she leaves hers in, I believe. Sam in Frugalissimo will do the same thing, but she does that, and then once it's sewn together she takes the elastic out. And on this I took the elastic out, and so I gave myself quite a bit of faffing to do. And also it was difficult on my fingers. My fingers have been brilliant for ages. Ooh, bit of real wood there. And that really did tax them, the pulling of the elastic and getting the stitches right. So there's nothing at all to frighten yourself about this. Nothing. And the collar is just, it's not got a collar stand, it's just there are no darts in this. You actually take your measurements from your high bust measurement. When I say I'm shallow here, I am shallow here, and I was just making remarks about it's like, yes, I'm hollow. So it was a risk to do it from a high bust measurement, and I wasn't certain it was going to fit, and it did, and it's all right. And also I didn't know I'd get my arms up with I did a 12, size 12, and I was bothered that I wouldn't get my arms up inside it and be able to get it on over my head, but I can, and that's all right. So I don't think there's a lot more to say about it, really. It goes together, the drafting, as Karina says, it's just beautifully drafted, and I would just concur with that, because I had no problems with that at all. And I haven't had to, the only thing I've taken off is half an inch. Take half an inch off most things at the top, sometimes much more, and that's all I had to do. I didn't alter the shoulders, I didn't do, that's it. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with it. I hope you enjoy my joy in me prancing about in it, and I wish you well for the rest of the week and beyond. Thank you for watching. I was trying not to make it serious, but if I'm giving details about something I get serious. I put this out today just to keep my joy, really, with all the bonkers stuff. I don't want to crease it particularly because it wasn't massively difficult to iron, but I have made a good job of it. It's ready to start on something. I don't think I'm starting anything. I have 3 things cut out in there yet, and I may embark on one of those. Although it's possible I'm going to be looking towards, I think this dress in this would be completely bonkers even for me. But it may make another of those little blouses. Hopefully in a better size. Okay, so thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope whatever sewing you're sewing is going well, and see you soon. Bye. Bye for now.